Anything you liked today? Anything you didn't like today?
Obviously you watch the tape and dissect it from there. I thought, we just try to mix it up and have different lineups out there and see who kind of plays well together, who doesn't, vice versa. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't matter at all. But no, I thought some guys did some good things. Obviously, Fletcher made some shots out there. The first scrimmage it started, we got Zach established right away, and then he was 1 for 3 in his first 3, and just kind of didn't get going there. But it's when you're switching teams, and have 3 different groups out there, and you're only playing 10 minutes, sometimes by the time you get used to it, your part of scrimmages is kind of about halfway over. But I thought we did some good things. I thought Ethan Morton played well handling the basketball and and making decisions. But I like our team. I think you can see there's a lot of different pieces out there from us, and the competition there is there's gonna be some people playing short minutes that are pretty good players. There's gonna be a guy or two that might not play in games that are good players. So it's a great problem to have.
I thought Ethan looked kind of freer, more comfortable, more aggressive.
Yeah, he did that in practice the last couple of days. He's really, he got to his pull-up a couple times and, just got the ball where it needed to be, and just, a good facilitator.
He just said he's just not worried about scoring anymore, and that's kind of unlocked something in him.
Yeah, it just depends on how people guard you, right? It's just, if they leave you wide open, you got to be ready to step up and knock those shots down, but just don't be consumed with it. And I think that happens with a lot of guys, is that how they look at their value, because you look at your value as a young player through your scoring more than just your worth as a defender, your worth as a rebounder, your worth really as a decision maker. I think those areas there, you can be really, really consistent. If you make shots, great. If not, it's not the end of the world if you're doing other things.
Lance showed his ability to get downhill and got all the way to the basket with about 4 seconds left. Is that something that maybe was missing last year? Was just that other guy that could blow by a defender?
Yeah, I think he realized, he had 5.5 seconds, and we got the rebound and just went coast to coast and made a really nice play. Obviously, it didn't go in, but yeah, having another guy out there to give you some quickness, it's things that we talked about at the end of the year. Need some more athleticism, need some more quickness, and I think we've been able to do that.
Defensively, how do you feel like you guys matched up today?
It was all right. I'll have to watch the film to really, give you an honest answer about that. You watch, when your team is on defense, you'll watch them on defense. But when your team's on offense and defense, you have a choice, right? So you could argue every play, or you could cheer every play. You could say, man, that was a bad play by the black shirts. And you're like, well, that was a good play by the gold shirts. It's what is it in your eyes? It just, it's the optimist and the pessimist, right? So you're where are you looking at your team? But no, I think, Zach has made some improvements on the defensive end. I think we saw that in the shot blocking ability, but we also saw it in then ball screens. And where we need, from Fletch and from Braden is to make strides on the defensive end. Lance Jones is a good defensive player. Ethan Morton is a good defensive player. Now, as whoever plays the 4, I feel very comfortable playing any of those 3 guys at the 4. And I think you can kind of see that with Trey and Caleb and Mason. They all bring, positive things out there. So it's a real blessing for us to have those kinds of options. And then we have a little bit of a log jam at the wing, kind of waiting to see who separates themselves. Miles, Brian, Cam Heidi, they all did good things, but just kind of waiting to see, because obviously, you see the improvements that Will's made. He's in a little bit different crunch there with, obviously with Zach being there, so that's a little bit different. But those other guys, there's an opportunity there for a guy or two to emerge and to really help us. So we're waiting on that, or we're waiting on that, and all of them have shown flashes, but just waiting on that consistency, and it's really kind of who fits in with who they're going to play with and the rotation they're going to be with. So when you have that uncertainty and you still have your exhibition game and your scrimmage, that's what you're really trying to get out of that. You're trying to, you want the answers to come to you.
How was Lance doing off the ball from a defensive perspective?
He does a good job. from this scrimmage, like I said, I got to watch the tape and kind of see how things are. And, his matchup will be different, I think. I think sometimes he'll guard the point even though Braden's, going to be in there. And then sometimes he'll guard, it just depends, like somebody off the ball. Maybe somebody, if we go that small, sometimes he's going to guard somebody pretty big if that's their guy, right?
How has Fletcher improved from year 1 to year 2?
Just, learning to, use angles and create angles and be aggressive when that happens. I think where he gets into a rut is when he tries to make plays and the defense is set. Try to, play off your shot fake, take the shots that come your way. Then if you can get people on closeouts or play out of a ball screen action or a pin down, now when you create those angles, that's where he's pretty crafty and can make those plays.
I get a sense there's a lot of unselfishness on this team, and you talked about, guys that are good players that aren't going to play a lot of minutes. So how do they have to buy in and realize I may not have the same role I had last year?
Yeah, it's, you didn't come here to start like you came here to win, And so, everyone's going to have to sacrifice for us to win. And that's every team. That's every good team. And the teams that don't are normally the teams that lose. And so, just understanding that, being mature about that. So the one thing that's a really hard thing to do for a player is when they don't play, they want to know what they did wrong. In reality, they didn't do anything wrong. Somebody else is playing instead of them. So I always get those guys and say, hey, when you come off the floor, don't ask me like what's wrong? What did I do? What did I do wrong? Because you're really insulting the person who just subbed in for you, and we're not in the business of taking bad players. Everybody here can play. So when that guy goes in, we're playing him. Then if they ask it again, I normally tell them, well, because we can't play 6 people. So they look at you funny on that one, but they're just thinking about themselves instead of seeing the whole picture. But it's hard when you put in a lot of time and you deserve to play more and you don't. Well, there's a lot of people that deserve to play more. It's part of it. It's being able to coexist really with our main guys, the way Braden navigates as a point, the way Zach plays in the post, obviously as a National Player of the Year. Who can play off of those guys the best, especially from an offensive standpoint. Now, if you can rebound and you're tough and you can guard better than anybody else out there, you're gonna find your way.
How much further along is Zach cognitively? He's been through a whole year of seeing teams do everything under the sun to him, and
right.
I don't know if he necessarily came into last season expecting that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I think he's fine. He's seen a lot of different, junk defenses or doubles and traps, and we double the post ourselves, so he sees it a lot in practice. He sees it every day, all day. So we got a scheme against him. So some of the things we do in practice against him, we don't do versus other people, and so it's a little bit of a waste of time because you just don't face somebody like that. But we're prepared for good post players, I'll tell you that. We are fully prepared. And so if they get us, it's not for the lack of us not practicing what we're doing. We're all over it with him. If you want to win in those scrimmages, if you want to have a chance against this team, you got to have 5 people and have awareness about it. And so that he's got a high basketball IQ. He understands things, and we work on his passing, and we work on different things that teams can do, or trap, or run the ball side guy at you. Just keep mixing up things. But he's that's where he's grown the most, in my opinion. Obviously, he's become a better defender. He can rebound out of his area, but his knowledge of what's going on is pretty high.
And that was the value of playing in Arkansas in an exhibition game on the road.
Yeah.
It's not going to be what you saw internationally, and it's not going to be some, Division II school. This is a big-time environment that you get to experiment a little bit against a good opponent.
Yeah, it's going to be great. That's why we did it, to be able to go against, that kind of athleticism, that kind of talent. Obviously, they've been very successful in the SEC. They've been very successful in the NCAA tournament. They've produced a lot of pros. So that's what we want. We want to face teams that are different than us. We want to face teams that are going to do things differently. And that's kind of the way we are in non-conference anyways. The teams that we've played the last 2 years in non-conference, that's what you want. That's how you build, and that's how you get better, by playing the best.
Preferably in Maui, right?
Yeah. Obviously, we're not going to Maui, but it's the Maui tournament.
Sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a juggernaut. It's going to be tough. You just got to be ready to go, and just get ready for Gonzaga. Don't worry about anything else. And then if you're fortunate enough to win, great. You lose, like, you ain't got time to feel sorry for yourself. You got to get ready for that next game. Cool.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys.